There's a lot of pheasants around here, so no doubt one will pop up in a minute and make me jump out of my skin. I don't know how many times they do it. The reaction is often always the same. Beautiful little area this, not far from my home. I've got swallows dancing over the growing crop down there. I don't know if you can see them. There's dozens of them. Wonderful. And just to my left, about 30 yards away, there's an old oak tree with a hollow interior, which is home to a family of barn owls. So if we're very quiet, you might be lucky enough to see them sunning themselves in between the showers in the opening there. But nature is just wonderful. I mean, look at the clouds. They're grey. I mean, the shapes are infinite. You know, there's as many different colours and shades and formations there as there are people that pass you by on the street. Clouds are like faces. There's so many of them. No two are the same. Absolutely magical. So I'm going to carry on ploughing through this long grass and make my way to where I'm planning to put the hammock and tarp up. That's where the barn owls reside. I don't think I was stealthy enough. Sometimes I get lucky. There are swifts and swallows and martins dancing over the top of this crop. I'm surrounded by flies and midges, so there's no shortage of food for them to keep their youngsters' bellies full. It's absolutely wonderful and a privilege, and we've got swallows nesting in our porch, and I think that's one heck of a privilege. Thousands of miles they travel to bring us this graceful spectacle. It's so aerodynamic. They move effortlessly. Personification of the word stealth, I think. And as above, so below. We've got the clouds sort of moving overhead in a carefree way, and we've got birds flitting across and over this crop. It's almost like a mirror. It's beautiful. We're looking east there over towards the Malvern Hills and the storm clouds. That's passed us by, but there are more on the way. Well, hoping so anyway. Once again, the woodland is alive. Okay, tarp is up, and I've flipped the. It's actually in a diamond. I've tied off the far right hand corner of the diamond off to a branch to the right, and I flipped the other half of the diamond over top and secured it to the tied piece with a carabiner, so it's going to just give me enough cover to put the hammock up and sleeping bag to show you how I actually cocoon my DD Frontline Hammock with my Snugpak sleeping bag. So it's keeping the rain off. It has been raining on and off. But it's very dark. We've had some thunder, and now that we've got sort of a full leaf canopy over top of us and the added dark clouds going over, it is quite dark here. So apologies if visibility isn't as good as I'd like it. So I'm just going to get the hammock out, put the hammock up, and we'll show you the Snugpak Cocoon sleeping bag in place. Hello and welcome back. Well, as you can see, I've the DD Frontline Hammock in situ, secured both ends with a double shoelace bow knot. Nothing too technical. It's gone very dark, so apologies if this is a bit difficult to see, and I can hear the rain and I can hear the thunder in the distance, although it's not as far away now as it was a few minutes ago. I have my Snugpak Softie Autumn sleeping bag laid out in the hammock. I brought it up to the wood in this sort of dry sack with the hammock and a few other bits and pieces in there as well, attached to the bottom of my Mango Boulder 25 litre day bag. Now what I'm planning to do is show you how I cocoon this hammock inside the sleeping bag, and it can be a bit of a faff, so if I make a bit of a birth of myself, please have a good laugh, because I'm sure that'll happen. It's quite challenging with just me being here to do it. If it's two of you, then obviously you can help one another and keep the bag off the ground and stop it from dragging in the dirt, which is always a good idea. So what I'm going to do is unzip the zip. It's a 3-season bag, so there's a full length zip. Unzip it. Before I unzip it fully, I'm just going to show you that the zip ends there, and then there's this little sort of exit hole. Don't know whether it's a ventilation hole or what it is, but that's the bit that makes this bag work as a cocoon around this hammock, because I'm going to totally unzip it like so, and then I need to take the bag out of the hammock. I'm going to put it down on that tree stump there, and bring the end of the zip back around and reattach it. Hope you can see this. It's very dark. It's the middle of the afternoon in the middle of June, and it's like I'm working in the black hole of Calcutta here. So I've reattached the zip. It's zipped. It's around the hammock there, and what we have here are 2 clips on the bottom of the bag. Now these clips are used to fold back and reduce the length of the bag to make it a smaller length bag for younger people, smaller people. So I'm going to use these clips to clip onto the the hammock tapes. So there's number 1. Quite tough to prise apart. There's number 2, so they're in situ now, so that means that the sleeping bag's secured in that position. Just going to bring the sleeping bag around the hammock. Just want to get hold of the zip. Bring the zip all the way to the top. So this is the head end. The foot end is near the camera. And we have the hood here, which when the baffle and the toggles are tightened, it sort of comes up around you, but I haven't secured the hood with anything to this end, which is something I need to look at. I could put fashion a hole through the hood and then thread the hammock through the hood in the same way that I've got it at the bottom, but I don't really want to do that if I can get away with it. So there we have the hammock cocooned now, well, the sleeping bag, and I'm going to get in and show you which coverage it gives. The zip's a bit sticky, as most zips are, with material getting underneath it, so let's be careful of that. just I probably would have the hammock higher off the ground ordinarily if I was intending to stay and actually sleep in it, so that I wouldn't have this problem with potentially the hammock dragging in the ground, the sleeping bag dragging on the ground. I've still got my waterproof trousers on, which incidentally I've kept my trousers dry. My socks are soggy because these high-tech boots aren't waterproof anymore. I keep saying. The trousers underneath these are dry, and I would recommend not getting into a hammock with dirty waterproofs or anything of that nature if you can help it, but for the purposes of this demonstration I'm going to give myself a pass on that one. So I'm in. I tend to usually have my hammock on a little bit of a slope so that the head is higher than the feet, so you don't slide too much. You might want to sleep, so bring the hammock, the sleeping bag around me. Have the toggles here to tighten if necessary. You can feel the hood tightening underneath the hammock. Because the big issue with hammock camping and sleeping is the compression of insulation underneath you. So you can wake up with a cold back or cold body parts, which isn't ideal because you're compressing the insulation that you're lying on if you sleep in a hammock directly on top of a sleeping bag. But with this method, the hammock is cocooned, the sleeping bag isn't compressed, and your body is heating up the air that's is trapped in between or trapped inside the cocoon. So after all, it's your body that does all the heating, nothing else really. I do also have a roll of foam backed aluminium, which I will put in between the two layers of this Frontline hammock. If I need extra installation, or I'll put my British Army Softie thermal bottoms on and my Cragopper pack away thermal jacket if I need extra warmth. But when I've used this sleeping bag around this hammock, I've not needed that. In fact, I've been too warm if anything. But it's always good to have those options to increase the insulation and the comfort. This sleeping bag gives me enough room to sleep across my hammock, which is, I find, the most comfortable way. I haven't brought my pillow with me, an inflatable pillow, today. Just really wanted to show you the mechanics of this cocoon with this sleeping bag, and for me it works. So if you're considering your hammock sleeping options, particularly now with it being summer, I did look at the Snugpak Cocoon, which is very good. The Snugpak under blanket, which again is very good. The DD Hammocks underquilt, and sort of looked at various other options for making homemade versions of those products. But then discovered that this sleeping bag has got that exit hole at the foot end, and give it a go, and it works a treat. So what is also doubly good is that I can carry this sleeping bag and use it in the hammock, or I can use it on the ground in my bivvy bag. So I haven't had to buy extra pieces of kit and equipment for different purposes, because this does the job. The only thing I need to consider is whether I adapt the hood to undo the toggle. Whether I adapt the hood to cocoon the hammock as well. Not sure what I'm going to do with that. I might just use some bungee, fasten some bungee cord onto it and get it to stretch out and sort of attach to the webbing That's at the top there. That's something I'll consider, but this gives me the versatility to have all the options really. So obviously when it's cocooning me like this, the hammock, sorry, the sleeping bag isn't being compressed. Obviously if you're getting in and out of it all the time, the air that you've warmed up is going to disappear, and you need to be aware of that. It's straightforward to unzip. The only thing to be aware of is when if you unzip it too much, it will sink to the ground and get dirty, and you don't. Dirty sleeping bags aren't great. So that's the Snugpak Autumn Softie Chrysalis 3 season bag, which you know, gives me that extra option. So hopefully that's been useful. I'm going to fire up the Crusader cooker now and make a brew, because a brew is obligatory when you come out into the woods. Don't need many excuses to make a cup of tea. Hopefully you can hear me. It's brightening up a bit again now, so hopefully you will be able to see me as well and see what this was all about. And I'll join you again in a few minutes when I've got a cup of tea in my hand. Thank you. And we have a rolling boil. I'm going to take that off the heat and make my brew before I pack the tarp down and make my way home. Wow. What an afternoon. So I'm on the edge of the woodland now, and the air's a lot fresher. It doesn't feel as clammy as it did when I was making my way up here. You can see the Malverns over there to the east that were shrouded in storm clouds earlier. You can still see the sky's still fairly broody, beautifully broody. But the birds are still in full voice. Cuckoo to my right, coming from the same direction that he or she was before we entered the woodland a couple of 3 hours ago.